Hello friends, welcome to GoodTecher LeetCode tutorial. Here we're going to solve letter combinations of phone number calling problem. So given a string containing digits from 2 to 9 inclusive, return all possible letter combinations that the number could represent. A mapping of digits to letters, just like on the telephone button, is given below. Note that 1 does not map to any letters. Like we have a telephone, there are buttons, so number buttons could represent letters. So we see here number 1 and number 0 buttons, they don't represent any letters. But the other numbers, like number 2 represents letter ABC, number 3 represents the letters DF. So here's an example. If the input string is a 2, 3, so just like someone is pressing button 2 first and button 3 next, and then output is an array of strings. So this array of string AD, AE, AF, BD, BE, BF, CD, CE, CF. This indicates all the possible letter combinations those two numbers could represent. So note here, although the above answer is next graphical order, your answer could be in any order you want. So that means as long as this array contains all possible letter combinations, that's correct. It doesn't mean whether BD, BE, BF, or AD, AE, AF comes first or comes later. So here, let's take a look at how to solve these letter combinations of phone numbers with some examples. So our input string is this digits, that's 2, 3. So our goal is to build an array of strings that contains all the possible letter combinations. So like number 2 represents the letter ABC, number 3 represents DEF. So we need to find all possible letter combinations. So we could build a string that at the beginning is just an empty string. So empty string, we put it here. So we can check each letter in the two numbers this map, and check each letter in this number 3 letters map. So make them as a combinations. So first, we start from the first letter in the 2 could represent. So we go to check the first letter, number 2 could represent. That's A. We add to this string, and then we go to check the first letter, number 3 could represent. So add to this string. So that's AD. So here, since this at this point the SB, so this string length is equal to the digits length. So that's indicate this is a letter combination. So we should add to this array. So we add to this array. So we add AD. This is one letter combination, and then we can go back to check the next one. So check the next letter in the 3. So that's AE. So we use the first letter, the number 2 could represent, and second letter, number 3 could represent, and build a new combination. That's AE. Same here, like meets this criteria. So we can add to this array, and then we come back and go to check the next one. So next letter, that's F. So we add to the string. So AF, that's another combination. That's also the same length as the digits. So we add to this array. So here, we come back, we already find all the possible letter combinations starting with the letter A. So now we should move to the second letter that number 2 could represent. So that's B. So B. So come back. So we need to find all the letter combination. Start with the letter B. So that's same here. start from the first letter, number 3 could represent. So that is BD. Since it meets this criteria, so we can add BD to the final array, and then come back to the next one. That's E. So BE. Similarly, it meets this criteria. So add to this final array, and go to next one. Next one is just F. That's when we come back, we go to check BF also same length as a digit. So that's one combination, BF. Now we find all the possible letter combinations start with the letter B. So we should come back to go to the next letter, and the number 2 could represent. So that is letter C. And start from the letter C. Then the same here, go to the first letter. Number 3 could represent. That's CD. Add to this array and come back. That's E is the next. CE also the same length as the digits, add to the array. So here the CE should come back and move to the next letter, that's F. So that's CF, that's another letter combination, add to the string. Then we finish this letter iterations. So come back to C already. So the numbers 3, the letters could represent. We find all combination and come back to the beginning. So that's back to the starting point. So all the combination we find, that's all the string. So in total, there are total 9 letters combinations. The number 2 and number 3 could represent. So we see here, like we just iterate from the first letter, all the letters the numbers 2 could represent, and then check like all the letter in the number 3 map they could represent, and add all the combinations that A, D, A, E, A, F, B, D, B, A, B, F. So those has the same length as the digits. So those are the correct letter combinations. So we add to the final array, and we get all the possible combinations. So here, go back to the coding. We need to solve in the Java. Use the Java code to code and solve this coding problem. So see, we need to return a list of a string. So we can declare a list of a string at the beginning for the result, and it's an array list. And that's also the one we should return. So we can make some edge case check first. So if this digit is null, or is this digit is an empty string, in that case, we should just return an empty result. And then we need to build a map that stores all the letters that a number could represent. So we can have a map. So the key is a character. the character is just a number. Number indicates a number character. So that's a character. And the value is a array of chars. So let's call this letters map. So letters map, we need to put the relationship between the number and the letters. So like the first one, let's start from the 0. So 0 just empty, though it cannot represent any letters. So it's just an empty array of chars. Then we need to put next one, that's 1. So same here, the number 1 doesn't represent any letters, so it's also an empty array of chars. And we can put the next one, so that's 2. So 2 could represent letter A, B, C. And the same thing to the next one. So that's 3. So number 3, that's a D, F. It's a copy from this line. So that's 4. 4 is the next. 4 could represent G, H, I. And then we can do next one. So that's 5. Number 5 represents J, K, L. And number 6 represents M, N, O. And the number 7 represents P, Q, R, S. So that's number 8. Number 8 represents T, U, V. And last number 9. Number 9 represents W, X, Y, Z. So we build this letters map. So store the relationship between the number and the letters they can represent. So then we should do is do the logic that when we iterate each letter, first we iterate all the possible letter that each character in the digits represent and build the combinations. So this we could have a helper function. Helper function, it's we can call it as a letter combinations helper. So what we should pass into this function is first the digits, and second is a string. So string, we can have a string builder in Java. So string builder. Why we need to have a string builder? Because In Java, the string is an immutable object, so we cannot change. So we can have a string builder, so that one we can dynamically add new chars and new characters or remove the characters. So we can have a string builder. And then we should pass into this letters map, this relationship map between the number and the characters. And finally, the last one we should pass is a result. We should, whenever we find a correct letter combination, we should put it to this final result. So let's here build this like a private function called a letter combinations. So first one is a string digits, second one is a string builder, and the map of a character and char, array of char, and that's a letters map, and a list of string, that's the result. So whenever we find the string builder, the nonce is same as digits.nonce, we should add this to the final result. So we should result add string builder to string, the string builder, and then return. Otherwise, we should do the loop. So for every characters that like a number represent, so like here we can see that's a letters map get. So get what? So we need to get this array of chars. So the array of chars comes from the digits char at string builder dot length. So see here, so letters map, so digits like a 2, 3, right? 2, 3. So at beginning, the string builder just the length is 0, length is 0. So we get the first letter. So first character, first character like a 2, 3. That's a 2. So we use this letters map to get the array that of the chars that 2 represent. So we get this char array, and then we iterate this each character in this char array like A, B, C. So we add to the string builder. And then check the next one. So go to the next letter combinations. Digits. So it's the same letters map and the result. We just constantly dynamically change the result. And when we finish, we can remove that letter. Go back to the previous level. So the remove function is for the string builder, that's called delete char at. We need to delete the last index, the character, the last index indicate that's a string builder nonce -1. Okay, so here we finish this coding. So here we have this. Let's quickly check if there are some typos and errors. So at the beginning we initialize the list of a string that's a result. So and if the digit is null or that's an empty string, we return result. And then we initialize a map of letters map, new hash map. Here we put the store the relationship between the number and the letters. So like 0 and 1, their value would be just an empty array of charts because they don't represent any letters. And 2 represents ABC, and 3 represents DEF, 4 represents GHI, and 5 represents JKL, and 6 represents MO, and 7 represents PQRS, and 8 represents TUV, and 9 represents WXYZ. So with this relationship map between the number and the letters, we can build this string, and build this helper function, pass a string and this letters map, also result and digits into that. So this helper function check if at the point that string has the same length as digit, that just one like a AD, so that's the same length as 2, 3. So that should be one letter combination. So we add AD this string to the final result and back to the previous point. So other than that, if the string length doesn't equal to this digit length, we should iterate the letters. Like here, the digits char at the string builder length. So at beginning, maybe the string builder is empty, so that's the first letter. So first letter in the digits, like 2, 3, that's a 2. So we use a map to get the array of charts that the number 2 represents, that's ABC, and we iterate the letter like ABC, we add to this string builder. So and then go to the deeper one. If we finish, we go back to the previous level. So here, delete char add. Okay, it seems correct, so looks good. So click submit. So it's accepted. So that's a correct solution for this coding problem. So we successfully solved this letter combination of a phone number coding problem. So as you can see, as long as we build this relationship between the numbers and the letters, then we iterate all the possible letter combinations. If the letters have the same length as digits, that's a one combination we put into the final array, and then just return. And here, like this coding, we could this map we can extract to maybe another helper function, like to get the latest map, so that makes your code more concise and it's better for reuse. So okay, so here that's all about this coding problem about the letter combinations of a phone number. So thank you for watching, and thank you for subscription to GoodTecher YouTube channel. See you next time.